Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring, and in today's video that we're shooting at Holmes Honda, we're going to give you the information to answer the question, is this the best hybrid trim level to choose? I'm going to give you all the details and specifics as to what you have with this particular model. And if you want to know more, there is a link down in the description of the video if you might want to come in and buy this particular model or anything else here at Holmes Honda. The exterior color on this model is Canyon River Blue. It has a black interior. And one thing that's interesting while we're back here at the rear, whether you go with the Accord Hybrid or the non-hybrid version, you're going to find something that you don't find with all hybrid vehicles. In fact, I'll go ahead and maximize cargo space for you just so we can show that to you. But that has to do with cargo space, and that's the fact that it's 16.7 cubic feet no matter what, whether it's hybrid or whether it's not. Now, the one difference that you're going to find between the two, something to just think about. Tell me what your thoughts are on this. Some people, well, they're still buying these models and saying no big deal. But it has to do with what we have right here. If you go hybrid, you will find that it doesn't have a spare tire. And if you're wondering, why is that, Tom? Because of the dual motor electric motors, I should say, the dual electric motors that take up the space that you would normally have. At least part of that is taken up where the spare tire would be located. So that area isn't available because the space just isn't there. Just one of those things to think about, one of those things to consider if this is a model you may want to buy. And obviously a big advantage is going to be the fact that you're going to get some great gas mileage, but at the same time you don't have to worry about, do I have enough charge capacity? Because there's a couple of different things that work in favor of this model compared to your full-blown EV, where battery or charge capacity is all you have to work with. In this case, we have a combination of the 2 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. If you're not a fan of turbocharged engines and you want an 11th generation Accord, well, this is your only other option. So you've got that 2-liter naturally aspirated engine. We talked about the dual motor hybrid electric setup that we have here. That combined makes 204 horsepower, 247 pounds-feet of torque. And the good news is that when the charge capacity gets to a certain point, then the gas motor kicks on. It starts to charge things back up. You will also find regenerative braking that helps with that. And you can increase or decrease that. What it does is use kinetic energy to help, again, to recharge the battery. And you control that right here via the regenerative braking paddles. They're not actually shifter paddles. In case you were curious about that, that's the situation here. And overall, what are the MPGs? Well, as you can see here, 46 city, 41 highway, 44 combined, and 2.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And for those of you who might say, well, hey, Tom, why are those numbers flip-flopped? Because when you're driving at higher speeds, obviously that contributes, and you're more likely to have the gas engine running. That's going to contribute as well. Still very solid numbers no matter what the situation is. And let's talk a little bit more about the exterior of this particular model, the hybrid touring version of the Accord for 2024. You'll have LED daytime running lights, plenty of lighting that's going to help you to see easily driving down the road when it's after dark. Now, for those who are saying, what's that flickering about? You'll see this on the exterior lights and on the infotainment screen. It has to do with my camera. It has nothing to do with this car. It's not really happening in person, just so you know. You have the active air curtains right here that allow air to flow through the front end. I don't know if I can show you all the way through that as far as that angle goes. Just one of those things, but here's where the air is actually coming out. And front-wheel drive being the only option for the Accord. For those of you who say, I would like to have an all-wheel drive option on the Honda Accord, tell me why you prefer all-wheel drive over front-wheel drive. And what about tire and wheel size? 235 is going to be your width, the 40 series sidewall, and in this case wrapped around 19-inch wheels. As we move up to the mirrors, you're going to have the body-colored mirror caps. Nice thing about having an overcast day is we can easily see the turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. And We also have right here, hopefully you can see that well on the screen, right there, blind spot monitoring. These are heated power adjustable side view mirrors. And then we also want to take a quick look, I know you do at least, at the remote. You can see what all is here. Remote start, I think, is the main thing a lot of people want to know where this model is concerned. And what do you think about the overall appearance of this 11th generation of the Accord? Obviously, it's been out for quite a while now, almost a full year. Changes, yep, there's a lot. Some people like it, some people don't. Tell me what you think. Well, one thing I know a lot of people didn't really like about the 10th generation was the design of the taillights. And so you can see right here, obviously that has changed. You don't have the stapler or crab claw look of the past, but still a nice clean look. And we'll take a little bit more in-depth look into the interior, starting with the back seat. Let's see how comfortable the armrest is. Yeah, put my arm up there, it feels pretty good. I think I could live with that for a while if I was a rear seat passenger. And then the door bins, reasonable size, put a very large bottle in there. And let's see, what else do we have here? Well, you're going to have the fold down armrest. See if I can get that to fold down. With the cup holders built in. A little bit of storage back here with the rear seat pocket, only on the passenger side seat. But for those of you who say, you know what, I want my rear seat passenger to have air conditioning vents and USB connectivity. Well, as you can see on the screen right now, they have both. And another area where I know a lot of people are saying, well, that's not quite what I was hoping for. Sunroof. In this case, conventional size. And currently, that's the only thing available for the Accord. Something else to answer down in the comments section. If you say, I would rather have a panoramic sunroof, tell me why. We'll take a look into the front seat, starting with the passenger side door. A little bit more space, not only for the armrest, but also for the door bin. And good news, on the touring trim level of the Accord Hybrid is that the passenger has a power seat. That's a given that the driver will too. So good thing, very comfortable seats. A reasonable amount of bolstering for when the driver wants to exercise 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. Quite a bit of space in here for gloves in the glove box or whatever anybody wants to put in there. Maybe the driver has their racing gloves on and that's why they're driving so fast and need that bolstering. You may also want to reach up and take advantage of the old crap handle right there. Depends on how good of a driver you have. And a quick look across to the dashboard as far as the overall look and design. More USB options right here in addition to the wireless charging pad. And for those of you who say, I can't stand push button shifters, good news, you don't have one. That's just not on these Accords. That's good news. So whether you go hybrid or not, it really doesn't matter. This is the shifter you're going to have, conventional style. That's something I know a lot of you prefer. And then the cup holders right here, drive mode selection options here. We'll go through what those are in just a little bit. Your brake hold mode and the power parking brake. Now let's take a quick look at something that's a multitasker here. The lid for the center console, plenty of space in there. And there's also another 12-volt power outlet. That can be used in a multitude of ways, including adding a third USB option since you have seating for 3 people, but only 2 USB connections back there in the back seat. But what about the height of the center console to use it as an armrest? Well, you could raise and lower the seats accordingly, so that will work just fine. Obviously, we have the map lights up here, or the reading lights, depending on what you wish to call them. The sunglass holder, and if you want to open the sunroof right here, you can slide that open or tilt it open. A couple of different options. And for those who are saying, Tom, what is the price on this Accord Touring? Well, here is the base price. I'll show you what that is just so you can see that. And why do I say base price as I do? Well, I don't know that all of the Honda dealerships do this, so where you live, I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but let's see if I can make this something you can see right here. But there are some additions here from Holmes Honda. There is the price, and there are the additions. I hope you can see that okay. But just to show you what's there, I'm just showing you what's here. That's the situation. You do have some added value, things such as window tint. You saw what all was there, so it's not as if the price is just marked up. There are actually some benefits. And now for the main area of attraction, at least most likely, depending on who you are. You may or may not be the driver, but most likely passengers are not watching the video, but maybe they are. You can see the controls right here. You know what all is there, I believe. You do have seat memory, a couple of different settings there. And one thing I did forget to mention earlier, these are manually folding side view mirrors. And in case somebody says, well, how do you manually fold the mirrors? I know, you shouldn't have to ask, but you never know, someone might. That's how you manually fold the side view mirrors. And then we'll come right here. You can open the trunk, pushing that button right there. You can adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel by dropping this lever. Make sure you put that back in place after you adjust it and get it where you want it. That could be an interesting experience if you don't when it comes to driving down the road. We're going to, well, let's listen. I don't know how much of that you got to hear, but you can see and maybe hear a little bit of what happens when you hop inside. You have the extra addition there of the hybrid logo coming up on the digital dash, the digital instrument display, whatever you want to call that. And you can see that when your lights are on, you can see the illumination in front of the Accord. And what's interesting is when you put it in gear, it moves into position. It's almost as if it's ready to take off. It's kind of an interesting thing to see, and a very nice layout with the dashboard here. I'm going to turn those lights off just because that seems to be more helpful. And right here, if you want to go through information on the left-hand side of the dash, you can scroll through with the scroll wheel. And when you're ready to select something, you just push down on that scroll wheel. Pretty easy to deal with. You can make changes and do whatever you need to do. Here are the rest of your steering wheel mounted controls. You know what the paddle shifters, or at least what look like paddle shifters, are really for right here, for adjusting your regenerative braking. And then obviously you control the headlight functionality right here and the turn signals. I have a tutorial on that. If you're turning your head like a dog, hearing a new sound and saying, what are turn signals or blinkers? Can't really say anything sarcastic about this because everybody uses their windshield wipers when necessary, just not their blinkers. And the 12.3-inch touchscreen, the largest you can get in any Honda vehicle at the current moment as far as what's available. That's going to change in a few months. But you can see what all is here. A very simple system to use. And I like the fact that you have this area right here where you can rest your hands. Just makes it a lot easier to work your way through everything. And a very nice system. Let's see if Tom can make that work. There we go. And you can see, if you're not happy with the position of the Accord in the center of the screen right there, well, just turn it around. Just whatever you want to do. And I think that's the only thing you can do is just spin it. But you can make your selections here as far as what you do. It really is a very nice system. It may look complicated, but I promise if you just use the hunt and peck method to work your way around, it's easy to figure out what's here, especially with the graphics. And that's not all you have. You also have your general settings right here. Makes everything nice and simple as far as what you might need to do. You have your power flow meter over here, and that is useful. You can also bring it up on the screen with this particular setup. Makes it even easier to see. And then if I go into reverse, I have a nice clear look with the rear view camera. This is the multi-view rear view camera, by the way. And something else you're also paying for with this model. You can see that you have the parking sensors on the front and the rear of the vehicle. So quite a bit going on here. It looks like a lot for those who are maybe saying, you know what, Tom, I'm really afraid of all that technology. I'll never learn it. I'll never use it. It's very easy to learn, and once you do, you're going to be surprised at how much you do use it. Wireless connectivity for your cell phone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. That means your smartphone will be basically mirrored on the screen as far as that goes. So a very nice setup. You also have your good old-fashioned knob right here for the radio, for adjusting volume and turning it on and off. And like I said earlier, you kind of noticed that flickering effect right there. That is not really happening in real time. It's just through the lens of my GoPro. So don't worry, it's not a defect. And something I like here, ironically on this day, even though I don't need it at the moment, I could use the heated seats more than the ventilated seats. But it's nice to know that those options are there if you want to use them. And last but not least, as far as the interior tour goes, before we go out on our test drive, let's go through our driving modes if you're curious to know what those are. And let me go up to normal. We're going to have that first. Then we can go into econ mode. And that's going to be the bottom end there. You can work your way all the way up to sport mode, and then you also have individual mode. Very nice graphics for everything that we have as far as that goes. The interior has changed a lot from the 10th to the 11th generation, but it's still very simple. And there is the head-up display, very easy to see, nice and bright, and gives you some good information. Okay, we're going to get out for our test drive, and if you're looking for the best experience as far as driving goes with this 11th generation of the Accord, I know a lot of you are saying, boy, I wish Honda had kept the 2.0T available. Well, this is as close as you're going to get, but it definitely does well. It has a very sporty feel to it. The handling is obviously very good, so you're really going to enjoy driving this particular model of the Accord. I don't doubt that. And even at higher speeds, you're going to find that the gas mileage is still pretty impressive. So overall, the driving experience is a lot of fun. It's also very comfortable. And you obviously have very responsive steering. Handling is superb. But let's talk a little bit more about ride quality. Number one, ride quality is good. It's nice and comfortable. And when you need to move around a vehicle that's driving under the speed limit, you don't have any trouble doing that. We're going to get around real fast here and get back over. But the ride quality is not only good with just the overall driving experience, but the seats themselves are also comfortable. And that's good because sometimes you'll find a situation where the two don't really complement each other. So you may have a good, comfortable ride quality with the vehicle itself, but then you go into considering what the seats feel like and it kind of cancels out the rest. And as far as driving modes go, well, I just changed into sport mode, and let's go around one more vehicle, just a quick little acceleration test. I don't even have to stay in it the whole time to do it. I'll just kind of coast around them. No problem whatsoever, and I could have done that very easily in normal mode if I'd wanted to, or even econ mode. And one thing I did forget to mention earlier in the video, I'm pretty sure I didn't say it, I didn't talk about the transmission. What exactly do you have here? Well, it's an eCVT. Try it before you make any decisions on how well it operates. In my personal opinion, it's very well behaved. It's not kind of that typical obnoxious experience that I know some CVTs offer. So this eCVT seems to do very well. And a very roomy interior. As far as I'm concerned, at 5'10", no problems whatsoever, but I know a lot of other people out there talk about how, well, even when they're over 6 feet tall, that they're very comfortable. Maybe some of you can share some information down in the comments section. Maybe you're 6'1" or 6'2" or even taller. Tell us how you fit in this 11th generation of the Accord, but one way or another, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. I personally think you get quite a bit for what you're paying for. I know vehicle prices are really high right now. I don't know that there's much out there that we could call reasonably priced, but based on a lot of the market that's out there for this time, yeah, I think this particular model is priced fairly well. Tell me down in the comments section, depending on where you live, what are you seeing with prices on similar models? I'm curious to know. So tell me what your thoughts are. Is the 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring the best trim level to choose of everything available? Tell me what your thoughts are, and tell me what your plans are. If you plan to buy a 2024 Honda Accord, whether it's a hybrid version or not, tell me what trim level you would like to have, maybe how you want to spec it out, what kind of features. Tell me all about it. I'm always curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Accord Hybrid Touring for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.